In the biggest modern-day political comeback, Donald Trump has once again won the presidency after losing in 2020. So to kick off the conversation, Steve, I want your unvarnished take. What's your reaction?
Well, this historic nature of it, of course, you've alluded to. When I was in college, I did my thesis on the 1892 presidential election, where Grover Cleveland won a term after losing his first bid for a second term. So this seemed almost a deja vu. But in terms of the election itself, it was historic. In terms of the breakthrough the Republican Party has made on numerous fronts, the party has changed. And I think the changes in terms of the voters that it attracted will last beyond Donald Trump. Just few factoids, 2/3 of Native Americans voted for Trump. 46% of Hispanics voted for Trump, including 54% of male Hispanics, which no Republican candidate has done. Trump did better than even Bush on that. He won 55% of the male vote, 45% of the female vote. And the Asian vote, he won 45%, which was a high for Republicans. So the demographics of the Republican Party have changed. And I think one reason why you saw the result was that people really felt that this was an election about what direction the country goes in. Will it be more of the traditional free enterprise direction, or will we become more like a European government-dominated economy where you have very sluggish growth rates and massive government presence? And I think the voters have registered their dissatisfaction with it. But Brittany, what's happened, though, is not just in the U.S. There's a global turning away from what you might call the establishment, the elites, especially since COVID. Every major country that's had an election in the last 4 years or so has seen a huge change in government, whether it was the UK, Holland, Belgium, France, Japan, India, Argentina, you name it, there's been huge changes. Canada has an election next year, and the polls show that the incumbent government headed by Trudeau will be resoundingly defeated. People are not happy with what has happened, either culturally, and I think that was epitomized by the controversy you saw in the Olympics of men competing in women's sports. On the economic side, the feeling of sluggishness that we're not moving the way we should. So it was a resounding vote. And what was amazing on some of the states was you take a blue state like New Jersey. Kamala Harris won it only by about 5.5 points. Usually a Democrat would win it by 10 or 15. You saw the same thing in Illinois, usually 15, 20-point margin, only 7 or 8 points. And surprisingly, Minnesota, the home state of the vice presidential candidate, Governor Walz, was the Kamala Harris one carried it by only a little over 4%. So on the Senate side, I think we're going to take Pennsylvania, so that's at least 53 seats, and probably have a narrow margin in the House. What it means in the Senate is that Trump will have an easier time with cabinet confirmations when you have a majority of, say, 53 rather than 51.